Welcome to Scattered Travel TV. I'm your host, Debbie Gerber. We are here today and we are going to finish our segment on Miami Beach. Specifically talking a little bit about boomer and senior travel, because I'm in that category. And you might be too. Even if you're not, you're going to get some great hints, because at any age, or you might just be slowed down, maybe you don't feel good on a trip. There's a lot of things that we can work with together here. I want to talk a little bit about travel when you don't feel so well. One of the big things is make sure that you don't overdo it that day. I mean, you could run all over and run and run and run, and by that evening be seriously sick. And so take it easy. If you're on a tour, tell your tour guide that you don't feel well. They may even know what to do to help you in that case. Maybe it's a stomach condition. You know, sometimes when we travel, we eat different foods. Even if it's just eating a lot of fried foods all of a sudden because you're eating out at like fast food, or maybe you ate Chinese or Mexican or something from another country and it didn't sit so well. And that can happen really quick and easy to anybody. But especially as you age, your stomach gets more finicky about eating and, not feeling well with that. And so there are things that you can take with you that will help a lot. Some of the things that I take, and you want to check with the doctor if you're on any medications, don't do anything without checking with your doctor and asking for their opinion. Me personally, I always carry some Imodium with me in case of diarrhea. It just stops the diarrhea. It's really quick and easy, especially like if you're on a bus tour. I've gone on bus tours where you're on a bus for hours before they stop. Really, you want to make sure that you have something with you so that, you can control diarrhea, because that's a really embarrassing thing to happen. So just take things with you in case. Have your own little first aid medical kit with you to take care of some of those problems and issues that can come up while you travel. Things like Pepto-Bismol, and like for a cold, let's say you just get a cold because you go from one climate to another climate. Sometimes that alone can cause you to get the sniffles, or maybe you'll get somewhere and you'll have an allergy problem. So know the things that you are susceptible to, and then take some of those things with you, because they can be really pricey and difficult to get while you're on your trip. So make yourself your own little first aid kit. If you would like a copy of what I take with me, there's a free printable packing list, and in that is a whole thing on different things that you can take with you. What I take in my medical and first aid kit, please go to our website and get that. It's www.scattertravel.tv. It's free, and it might make, jog some things in your memory that you might need. If you're traveling out of the country, you might want to check with your doctor to see what kinds of things that you might want to take with you to help you health-wise, so that you feel well on your trip. So that if you get some kind of little bug or a sniffle or something, or an allergy, that can be taken care of. So make sure that you, don't run into problems and then you don't have the things, even like headache, and make sure that you have your medication with you. When you travel, be sure that any medications that you take, especially prescription medications, are with you physically. Don't pack them in a suitcase that could be put in the airplane underneath, or don't pack them in a bag that they're going to put in the back of the tour bus or underneath the tour bus. Make sure it's in your handbag that you carry with you all the time, so that you don't lose those, because you don't want to be without those. Some medications you just have to have, and you don't want to be without those while you're trying to find a doctor and get prescriptions. And, if you're on a tour especially, where are you going to stop long enough to have that filled? So make sure that you take that with you. And, take a copy of a prescription with you. So if you're out of the country, so that if you do lose your medications or something happens, you can get them refilled. These are all things to write. Make sure you just take a little card to the doctor's office with you, and on it have questions written down like, what should I take with me that would match my medications and be okay with my medications? If I were to get the flu, if I were to get diarrhea, if I were to get, if I was to have allergies, if that's a problem for you, if I was, to get a cold. And then take some of those things with you. But definitely ask your doctor, because they will know what is best for you. And then have that little kit made up ahead of time, So let's go on to Miami Beach and see some of the other fun things to see. It's a great place to go, especially low-key if you'll take a tour. In Miami, we took a tour in a van. It was a company that took you on a tour in a van, and it was really nice because all along the way they had it by GPS. They had a narration, and so everywhere we went, there was this nice narration that would tell you all about the area and the history and the things that you were seeing as you went, as well as the driver would also answer your questions. There was time for questions, and he would input some things. Plus, we would stop along the way, and then he would tell us about it. So we really got a good overview of where we were traveling and what we were seeing. And I love tours for that because you actually aren't just seeing something, you're learning something about the places that you go as well. I would make it a point before you go, though, to research any of the places that you're going so that you can have some idea of where you're going. Maybe you'll already have questions before you get there. But come along and see the rest of our trip to Miami Beach on this tour that we took in between. I should tell you this. We flew in. We had several hours of a layover. And so in between there, we hired this company to come pick us up at the airport. And then they took us on this tour, and then they dropped us off the cruise ship. If you'd like to hear more about how we arranged that and what we did, see the video from last week that has Miami Beach, the first section, because this is the second section of that video for you. So come along and let's take a look at some of the other things that we saw in Miami Beach.
As we drove through Miami, there were so many really cool things. They just make it look gorgeous, and of course it's very kind of a tropical feel as well. And one of the stores we went by was, of course, the Kardashian store, because you couldn't be in Miami and not see that. And of course that was something that is a popular sight to see. So we drove by, and it wasn't what I thought it would be, but here's what it looks like, and it's one of their stores. One of the very beautiful things where they do a lot of concerts is the Fillmore. Fillmore is this wonderful theater where they do concerts, and so that's one of the places that you go by on the tour. And if you're ever going to go to a concert, that's a good place to go. And I've been told that one of the secrets of going there is that some of the food is a little pricey and you can't take your own, so plan for that, as well as there is good parking across the street in a garage parking, or for my boomer people that would really like to just be able to park their car and walk in, they do have a valet service that is good to use there because of its convenience. As you go through on this tour, there are so many streets that you're going to see that were popular in movies. And if you're up on your movies and love your movies, you're going to recognize some of these places, and they'll tell you what they are along the way. And, you know, you'll recognize them and say, oh, I know what that one is, or, you know, that's really famous, and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, kind of watch for that if you're into that kind of thing. Another thing we did see, and I might comment on, is if you're just in Miami, they do have a hop-on, hop-off bus tour in Miami where you just sit in these open-air buses, and you can look out, and they do the recorded tour along the way, the narration along the way. So that is available in Miami, and I didn't know that until I saw one on the street. There's a whole area that you go through there that's kind of called the Art Deco area. Again, this is probably one that's going to come back from like the 50s. That's very famous from then. And there's even the old gangster car there with the mafia car, gangster car with, you know, somebody in it so you can take pictures by it. Very touristy thing, but again, another little fun thing. One of the other places that we went to that I really, really enjoyed was, I think they called it Little Havana, but it was Cuban, a Cuban area, and we stopped at this little cafe, and we had the most marvelous sandwiches. I'm telling you, that is a stop for food. This restaurant just is great, and it is different than anywhere I've ever had a sandwich before. And so there's a fun step to make. And then, of course, if you're into drinking coffee, they had the Cuban coffee there for everybody, and it was served in these little cups and looked like a lot of fun. Everyone who had it seemed to enjoy it. We had our 7-Up and our sandwiches because I don't drink coffee, but it was awesome for those who did to actually have the taste of the Cuban flavor. So another great stop just to get a bit of the culture of that area.
Whenever you travel, you should at least try to get into the culture and get a taste of it. So while we were here in Miami, we are in a Cuban area, very famous for its Cuban sandwiches. This is a Cuban sandwich. We've got ham and cheese and pickles. It is excellent. We ate at the Versailles, and you should come here. I would recommend this restaurant. I think it was awesome. It was great. They have a little stand-up bar that's awesome. They serve a really strong Cuban coffee and espresso there in these little cups. I think that you would just love getting a feel and a taste for the culture, especially if you're traveling in a culture different than your own.
It just seemed like everywhere we went there was boats. Of course, you're right on the water, but you know, where I'm from the desert, boats it's just kind of fun to see them everywhere. So you're going down the road and across the water, here's all these boats coming and going, and you can imagine people out for the day, either for work or for play, and it just is an atmosphere that makes it fun to go to Miami. There's a lot of things that I recognize. One of them was the Miami Herald. I mean, just the name, you remember that as being a great newspaper, and so you go by the Miami Herald now. We did go by a place where they were getting ready to produce a movie. Again, like I said, Miami, a great place for movies and making of movies. There was something that caught my eye I have never seen before and never thought of. If you're a boat person, this is probably not news to you, but they had multi-level boat parking. It's like a parking garage. It's like putting boats on a shelf. It is so weird. So you're going down the road and here's these layers of boats just sitting up in the air, and boats out of water just don't make sense to me, but it was cute and it was fun. It was something really different. We had to stop and take some pictures of that because I just had never seen anything like it. But like I said, how else would you do boat storage if you had a whole bunch of them and it's not the season to have them in the water, or they just need to be dry docked for a while? So they actually really do this. This is what it looks like when they have boat storage, when they put them up on these, I call them shelves. I don't know what they call them, but I just thought I'd show that to you because for me that was another one of the unique things that I saw in Miami that I don't see where I live. We went by the Miami Convention Center. Now, a lot of people who go on business are going to end up at the Miami Convention Center. And so this is right down where all of this stuff is at. You could get a tour. Let's say you are on a business convention and you wanted to go sightseeing. They could come get you there just as well, or from your hotel. So that is in a very central area. There's fun things to do right around there. You could catch a hop-on, hop-off bus around there. You could, like I said, call a tour company and have them come and take you around. But if you get a chance to go to the Miami Convention Center, it is really well located to go and see a lot of these sites that are in Miami. You know, when you go to visit someplace that you're not used to being and you're not used to having, like I said, like the boat storage, I even found the cemetery absolutely fascinating. Everything in our cemeteries are buried below ground. We don't have these, I don't know what you'd call them, vaults above ground where I live. And so to see a cemetery with these vaults above ground, and people buried above ground, was really interesting to me. So even a cemetery can be really interesting. There's just so many things to see when you go to a new area.
Visit our website, www.scattertravel.tv, and see more travel destination information, more videos of things to see, previews of travel, and there's some discounts on there as well. So come visit us. We hope we can help you in your travel so that your travel is more enjoyable and more entertaining for you.